Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be checking out some really cool battles in the Master League featuring level 40 Perfect IV Shadow ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR is a grass and dragon type Pokemon with the moveset of Dragon Tail, Seed Bomb, and Draco Meteor, and this trainer pairs it up with a Mewtwo and Garchomp to get some fun wins. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Shadow ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR in action in the Master League. Hopping into the first match, leading Mewtwo into Garchomp. This is a pretty nice lead because Mewtwo is able to outpace Garchomp here. This Mewtwo is of course not running Ice Beam, but Garchomp may not know that. Building up to what could be an Ice Beam, hoping for the shield, but the opponent does not fall for the bait. Mewtwo can survive any one move here. Garchomp fires off the Earth Power, and now Mewtwo can farm up. Mewtwo farming, but the Garchomp is running Sand Tomb as well. Sand Tomb, barely not enough to KO, and Mewtwo is going to be able to fire off one final Psy Strike. Psy Strike does get the shield and an immediate switch into the Shadow ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR. Dragon Tail's doing big damage, and the opponent is going to respond with Melmetal. One move here should not be KOing. Rock Slide is going to do quite a lot of damage though. ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR farming up and going straight for the Draco Meteor. Draco Meteor, big resisted damage onto the Melmetal. Melmetal gets greedy farming up, and now they're going to get hit with the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb is debuffed, but it's still able to take down the Melmetal, and in the back, there is Giratina. Giratina able to get a big energy lead, which is quite scary, but thankfully, Garchomp still does have a shield advantage. Garchomp farming up quite a bit. Tough call to make here. Shields and gets baited. That is really unfortunate. Garchomp is going to be firing off the Outrage. Outrage! Able to connect. Opponent called the Sand Tomb, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, letting Mewtwo into Lugia. This is actually a pretty decent lead for Mewtwo thanks to running Shadow Ball, because Shadow Ball is able to hit for massive super effective damage. Lugia goes straight for the Sky Attack, Mewtwo able to tank it, farming up and going for the Shadow Ball. Unfortunately, Mewtwo did throw an alignment which allows Lugia an entire Dragon Tail for free. Mewtwo farming up, going for a Psy Strike bait on what should be a CMP tied to a Sky Attack. Psy Strike gets the shield, and it's CMP. Does Mewtwo commit the shield? It looks like they're going to do that. Trying to reach one final Shadow Ball. This is going to be close. Mewtwo able to get there, and this Shadow Ball will be KOing the Lugia if they let it through, which they do. Opponent brings in Kyogre, safe switching into the Shadow ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR, and in the back, the opponent has a Mudshot Groudon. So ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR has a ton of play versus the back line of this opponent. Fire Punch is only going to hit for neutral here. EXEGGUTOR still going to commit the shield because I imagine a Fire Punch still does quite a lot. Groudon firing off another Fire Punch. We'll have to see how much this does. That does a ton of damage for only being a Fire Punch. EXEGGUTOR over farming quite a bit and going for the Seed Bomb. This will be taking care of the Groudon. Back in comes Kyogre, not wanting to take any risks of trying to go for the Draco, opting for the guaranteed damage of the Seed Bomb. Seed Bomb, massive damage. Kyogre goes for a move but catches onto Mewtwo. Absolutely beautiful plays. In comes Garchomp, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, leading Mewtwo into Zacian. With two Dragon types in the back, it is very nice to catch the Zacian on the lead. Mewtwo farming up, going for the Psy Strike, unfortunately threw on alignment, which gives Zacian an extra snarl of energy. And Zacian with an energy lead can be incredibly deadly. Zacian is at back-to-back Wild Charge if they have it. Mewtwo shields. It is the back-to-back Wild Charge, and a very nice play to go for the Psy Strike on CMP for what should be the second Wild Charge. So that way, Mewtwo doesn't have to go down two shields without grabbing a shield first. Mewtwo double shielding, looking for the Psycho Cut down. Opponent is going to bring in Zarude, and this is a problem. Honestly, no Pokemon on the team have a great matchup against Zarude, bringing in the Shadow ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR, but even EXEGGUTOR doesn't have a great matchup here. EXEGGUTOR not going to be able to reach the Draco Meteor, firing off the Seed Bomb just to get any extra chip damage. The nice thing is that Zarude cannot farm down here, so Zarude is going to be forced to throw a Dark Pulse to KO, so that way they have to burn quite a lot of their energy. Speaking of energy, Mewtwo does have a ton of it. Back in comes the Mewtwo. Mewtwo does have the back-to-back Psy Strikes. Psystrike is going to be enough to KO from here. Zarude lets it go. Back in comes Zacian. Going to be firing off the Psystrike. Psystrike gets the shield. Simultaneous switch, and it's a Garchomp into Melmetal. Things looking incredibly good now. Garchomp going straight for the Earth Power. Earth Power, big damage onto the Melmetal. And from here, Garchomp can very safely commit to the Mud Shot, farm down, and leave with a move. Melmetal spamming out Superpower after Superpower, but it's just not going to be enough damage here. Melmetal trying its best, opting to go for the Outrage, possibly a little bit of bad manners there. Outrage taking him out, farming down the Zacian, and that is a good game. Hopping into the next match, sitting Mewtwo into Rhyperior. Definitely not a pick you see every day. Opponent is going to save switch into Togekiss, and Mewtwo has to stay in here. Both of the back two Pokemon get absolutely shredded by Charm. Mewtwo able to land a Psystrike, but Psystrike alone is not enough to take down a Togekiss. Mewtwo firing off Psystrike number 2. That gets shielded, and Togekiss is going to be firing off an Ancient Power. Mewtwo kind of has the shield here because needs to try and take out this Togekiss if at all possible. Firing off a third Psystrike. Psystrike goes unshielded, and the Charmer is taken out. In comes Rhyperior. Rhyperior is going to be met with Garchomp, and the fact that Rhyperior is not switching out here means they must be incredibly weak to Garchomp in the back as well. Garchomp farming up a ton of energy and firing off the Earth Power. Earth Power does get the shield. In the back, they have Melmetal, so they are incredibly weak to a Garchomp. Garchomp is going to be able to tank the Superpower and fire off the Earth Power here. And honestly, ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR may not even be needed in this match. Back in comes Rhyperior. Rhyperior is going to get hit with Earth Power as well. ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR stays on the bench, and that is a good game. Nightmare lead in the next match, Mewtwo into Zarude. Save switch into the Shadow ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR, which is going to be met with a Dragon Tail Groudon. This is bad news for EXEGGUTOR, as its health is absolutely getting shredded by these Dragon Tails. EXEGGUTOR just falls short of a second Seed Bomb and not able to grab that second shield. This Groudon has a ton of energy. Back in comes Mewtwo. Mewtwo would not appreciate an Earthquake here, respects it, but gets baited with a Fire Punch. Groudon deciding to throw back-to-back, wanting to get some chip damage off on the Mewtwo. Mewtwo should be able to overfarm here quite a bit. Mewtwo is going to farm up to the back-to-back Psystrikes, so that way Mewtwo can save one for later in the match. Psystrike takes them out, back in comes Zarude, and Zarude is going to be met with Garchomp. The fact that the opponent is staying in here hopefully means that they're going to be weak to Garchomp in the back. Garchomp is going to burn that final shield and fire off the Outrage. Outrage will do massive damage here. Not quite enough to KO, but enough for Zarude to commit the shield. Zarude firing off Dark Pulse number 2. This is going to be getting that Garchomp quite low. Garchomp farming up, able to reach the Outrage, and this will be doing massive damage. Zarude barely able to hang on, and it's a CMP tie. This is going to be taking out the Garchomp, and now it is all up to Mewtwo. Mewtwo farming up on energy and throws just before they reach the back-to-back Psystrikes. Psystrike is lethal from this range. What is in the back? It is Excadrill, but Mewtwo is going to need to get to 2 moves here, and because they didn't farm to the back-to-back versus the Zarude, unfortunately, they are going to fall 1 Psycho Cut short. Excadrill takes out the Mewtwo, and they lose a heartbreaking game. Hopping into the next match, sitting Mewtwo into Giratina Origin. This is a tough lead, but Mewtwo can fight back here thanks to Shadow Ball. Mewtwo farming up and going straight for the Shadow Ball, really hoping that the opponent decides to call a Psystrike, but they do not. They commit a shield, and it's a CMP tie. Actually willing to let the Mewtwo get taken out. Down goes Mewtwo. Brings in the Garchomp. Opponent is going to save switch into Dialga. Dialga, these Dragon Breaths doing massive damage, but Garchomp can hit back with the Earth Power. Earth Power, able to land, but this is a level 50 Dialga. It's able to hang on and fire back. Ironhead is going to grab a shield. Garchomp looking for the farm down, almost at a move, but very low. Back in comes the Giratina Origin, which is going to be met with the ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR. ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR able to get the Dragon Tail through, commits the shield on the Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse! They're running the double nuke Giratina. It gets farmed down. In the back is Excadrill, and things are looking really good. Garchomp is almost at a move, so this Exca will have to massively overfarm if they want a chance to win this game. Firing off another Seed Bomb. This is going to be getting that Exca quite low. Exca commits the shield. They keep farming, and this should be game over. Seed Bomb is going to be taking care of the Excadrill, and that is a good game. Hopping into the final match, setting Mewtwo into Melmetal. This is a pretty neutral lead. No Focus Blast leaves Mewtwo without a one-shot move, but just because you don't have Focus Blast doesn't mean you can't bait it. Mewtwo builds up to what could be the Focus Blast and is able to grab a shield. Very nicely done. Melmetal is going to fire off a Rock Slide and fire off a second one as well. Mewtwo doesn't have to shield here, and that should basically be all of Melmetal's energy. Mewtwo farming up a ton, switch and a fantastic catch, able to catch Rock Slide number 3 onto Garchomp. Opponent is actually staying in here with Melmetal, which is quite surprising. They're looking to get some chip damage with a superpower, and then I'm expecting they're going to be switching out, which they do. They have a Machamp in the back. Garchomp is going to be firing off the Earth Power. Earth Power does not one-shot from here, but will do some very nice damage. Machamp, not wanting to get hit by a second, is going to fire off a Cross Chop. You do have a ton of energy on Mewtwo, but instead choosing to farm down with the ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR. ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR is going to shield up the Cross Chop, but then get a nice energy lead for whatever the opponent has in the back. Opponent chooses not to show their third, and instead brings back in the Melmetal. ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR going for the Draco Meteor. Do they respect it? They do not! Down they go, and in the back the opponent has their own Mewtwo, going straight for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball gets the shield. It's a Confusion Mewtwo. I don't know why they're running Confusion, but that helps them be able to reach a Psy Strike. Back in comes Shadow ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR, reaches the Seed Bomb, and it's a CMP tie. ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR very safely shields up the Psy Strike, and this Seed Bomb means it is game over. Seed Bomb taking down the Mewtwo, and that is a good game. All in all, these were some incredibly spicy battles in the Master League featuring perfect IV Shadow ALOLAN EXEGGUTOR. Spice is very difficult to run in the Master League, so big props to this trainer for being able to make it work, even if only for a few battles. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.